Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Rip. It is FAFO Friday. We're wrapping up the week here. I'm ready. I'm ready to wrap up this week. It's been kind of crazy. We're getting some movement in after hours here and in the pre-market. Obviously, tech was down pretty good yesterday, most of the market, and then you see things right back up this morning to the upside, breaking yesterday's highs. And I think we're just hanging around right there right now on the S&P and QQQ there. So interesting morning, a lot of stuff moving. I think it's going to be a fun day. But how we doing, boys? Aaron, Zunaid, how we doing, guys?
What's up? Good morning to you. Aaron, what's the market looking like in your eyes? Aaron, I know you've already been talking
I was
about it.
just, this is crazy. I was just on pre-market prep with Christian Fromhertz and Mark Chaikin and hopped here as soon as I could. And I hopped in like as we were going live, so I'm hopping in right
No
now.
worries, you're good.
It's like Jordan said, FAFO Friday, which I think that's a fitting way for me to join this show and hop in just as we're going live. But yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, you had the market. I mean, this week really, it's weird because it's one of those weeks where we're still right up here at all-time highs, but it feels like, we've had a pullback this week because the majority of the days this week have been red days. We had a really good day Wednesday, but Monday and Tuesday weren't great. Yesterday wasn't great. But then yesterday after the close, of course, you had, Broadcom's earnings. That stock's up like 20% this morning. Anytime you have a name that big, making that big of a move to the upside, it's going to bring other names in tech with it. It's kind of like, all right, come on, put the team on my back,
Well, yeah, I had a
AVGO.
lot of questions for that yesterday. People were like, "Well, you think Q's gonna move off AVGO?" And I'm like, "Absolutely. That earnings that will push QQQ for sure, at least for the first morning move after hours. You know what I mean? Whether or not we displace afterwards, that could happen, right? But yeah, I gotta expect Q's to move with that for sure.
Yeah,
I didn't.
especially when the report comes with, like there's not a lot of other big tech names reporting right now, so everyone's kind of waiting around to see, and maybe AVGO, if it was reporting on the same week as Nvidia and all these other stocks, maybe people wouldn't focus on it so much. But because we don't have that many other earnings coming out right now, at least in big tech, people are going to pay more attention and give more credence to whatever Broadcom does. Great move there. Of course, you had Google breaking out the other day. I mean, like you said, just kind of like whipsaw market. Tech down yesterday, up again today. I think it's still bulls in control here. It's like until proven guilty, the market's still strong right now.
Am I the only one that didn't realize till yesterday that Costco was at $1,000? I feel like the last time I looked at that stock was maybe 500. That I think Warren Buffett might have bought it. Could be wrong. And then yesterday I was just watching CNBC and they're like, "Yeah, Costco $1,000," and I'm like, "Since when is Kirkland that popular to where Costco is not $1,000?"
Are you kidding, Zune? You do realize that right now they're getting billions of dollars of free marketing and advertising from the Costco kids and the Rizzler and the Choco Chunk cookies and the chicken
Have you
bake.
had
It's
any of them?
everywhere,
Have you
and
had any of
Costco
them?
doesn't have to pay a dime for this, and yet they're getting millions and millions of impressions across TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. You have kids out in like Indonesia that have never they don't know who LeBron James is, but they know who the Rizzler is, and they want to go to Costco and buy a rotisserie chicken and the chicken bake and the choco chuck cookie and get all these things from Costco because they see these influencers and
Yeah.
media stars out there. So that's the growth driver for Costco right here. And if they keep posting videos, Big Justice and all them, Costco $2,000 a share.
What a time to be alive where influencers that are 3 foot tall are driving up the price. And, of course, different reasons for it as well. But I will say this. My TikTok is telling me to lose weight because it'll just tell me, hey, here are 10 protein packages that you can buy at Costco to help you with your weight loss in 2025. I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks. I appreciate that. But I know we've got some topics to kind of go over. So if we want, we can ruffle through those as well. But, yeah, Costco was one that I was taking a look at. I can't believe Palantir is around the $80 mark. I mean, that was like what, in the tens earlier this year or so. So, I mean, that's been on a nice little run there as well. I will say you've got with the market kind of, like you said, trying to hit all-time highs and things like that. Are there any stocks that you're particularly looking at as we wait to go through the different topics here?
Costco.
Yeah. But let's go. So, I mean, if you want, producer Keith, we can go through the topics if you'd like, and we can run through them. The first one, obviously, Aaron Bree, you've got the heat map yesterday. Nothing too crazy. Just the same old back and forth. Nvidia taking a little couple percent hit. By the way, I think today we see if some stocks are being added to the NASDAQ. So folks are talking about Palantir possibly being one of them, MSTR being another one. But any thoughts from you on this heat map from yesterday?
I think right now it's interesting actually to see the strength in Apple. I mean, Apple's kind of quietly right now. I mean, like new all-time highs, $240 a share. I think that could actually be a sign if you are looking for the market to top out is once Apple starts showing weakness, because I think right now what you're seeing is a lot of just safe money flowing into Apple as kind of like a safe haven. I mean, for a lot of people, like Kathy Wood has talked about it, a lot of managers that manage a lot of money view holding Apple stock as like almost kind of like holding cash. They're like, we're not invested in this because we think it's going to double, but we know it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
So if that ceases to be the case, then Apple, then I think the overall market could be in trouble. Tesla down about 1.5%. That stands out to me right now, just because I think Tesla's at a very interesting level.
Yeah.
I think it's could be easy for someone to come in right now and say Tesla is very overextended, let's short it. The problem with that is that out of the 850 million people that have tried to do it, no one has ever successfully shorted Tesla. So I'm not going to do it and come in and try to buy puts. But if you told me, Aaron, don't buy Tesla here, it's way overvalued, it's got to pull back eventually, I'd be like, yeah, you're probably right. I can wait for a better buy opportunity. But I'm not going to come in and call a top and try to short it, because, again, people have tried to do it before, Jordan and Zunaid, and it never ends up working out. So I'm not going to, make the same mistake that I've seen a lot of other people make. The chip stocks in general, bad day yesterday, but again, Broadcom bringing them right back today. And then, Burke B also standing out a little bit weak, but I think that you're just seeing kind of some overall, a little bit of weakness this week that, with how diversified Berkshire is. Whenever the market has a couple down days, like Burke B is going to be down a little bit too, but it usually holds up a little bit better than the overall market in downturns, because it does have some of these more value holdings that tend to not be as volatile as like.
It's been a great name to buy dips on.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I had technical difficulties.
No, you're good.
We were having a little shortage out over here, but
Jordan, before you get to this PPI, I will say this. In terms of Tesla, since the close of Tesla on November 5th, election day, it's up 67%. So, yeah, you want to talk about a massive move in the past 5 weeks. Tesla's definitely one of those names. Of course, Palantir has benefited as well on the administration. Plenty of stocks that, okay, cool. Do we come back down, or do we have a Santa Claus rally, so to speak? And then, of course, we talked about January effects earlier as well. But what we got on the PPI?
Well, rose yesterday. Market didn't really like that. We got like a down print in the pre-market when that first happened, and then obviously just kind of downside sentiment all day yesterday. So market didn't really like that PPI number, which makes sense to me. But obviously with that AVGO earnings, you see the market right back up. Short-term reaction. It doesn't really care about that, right? Whether or not we see more reactions from that, like settling in today, I don't know, right? I definitely feel like bad news lately has actually been bad news, versus I feel like all year we've had bad news, good news, and it doesn't really matter. It's like sometimes bad news has been great, you know what I mean, for the market. So I feel like we're kind of getting back to that area where, bad news is bad news, and we see that sort of reaction off of it. But curious on your guys' thoughts here as well with the PPI number.
Aaron, what you got? Because, PPI, all these, I've said it last time, right? All these numbers that are kind of like long-term for me, don't care. Whatever the reaction is when I'm trading in the charts itself, but Aaron,
I'm pretty much in the same boat, but still something to watch out for. Yeah.
Aaron, for sure.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where you kind of have a zone where you want to be in. And I still, we might be a little bit on the hotter end of that zone, and in terms of that we're seeing inflation pick back up a tiny bit here. But you don't really want to see like drastic reduction in inflation very quickly. A lot of times that's coupled with a downturn in the economy. So like part of it is like, okay, yeah, inflation, the progress being made on inflation, we might have kind of hit a wall for now, but it also is not necessarily the worst thing, because if all of a sudden you saw the CPI and the PPI drop from where it is now and continue dropping, you really only see that in times of recession and when the economy is shrinking. So it's like you could kind of look at it both ways. Could we have had it be a little bit cooler and been better for the market? Yeah, sure. But I still think, again, we're still in that zone of kind of what you're looking for. If it starts going up even further in future months, then it becomes more concerning. But right now, it's not really the biggest concern to me. And actually, I think it's a sign that the economy is still doing pretty well overall. Not that there's not signs of cracks, or I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think overall the economy is still holding up relatively well.
Yeah, so that'll be a big meeting next week with FOMC. So we'll keep an eye on that. AVGO had a great earnings last night. Am I still cutting out, guys? Oh gosh.
No, you're good. You're good.
for
So it
us.
looks like we had a
Can you hear
poll here with 68% of people thought AVGO, that Broadcom would beat with bullish guidance. I believe they actually did not beat. I believe they missed. Let me pull up the exact numbers here real quick. Let's see. The EPS beat, the sales missed. So you kind of had a mixed bag there of the earnings where, again, the EPS came in above expectations, the sales actually below expectations, but the guidance was very strong. So everyone who answered beat with bullish guidance, I'll go ahead and give you full points, even though, again, technically one of the numbers was a miss. But the guidance was great, hit the nail on the head there. Stock is up 20%.
Well, and that's really what's important there, right? The guidance, in my opinion, right? I've seen plenty of stocks. They guide up and have good guidance there versus some of the numbers not being as great. And you see these moves like this powerful, right? So that's why, yeah, I'm always got to listen to that earnings call, right? And see how things are headed.
Which, by the way, you can on StockTwits platform. So if you don't already
Yes,
know
sir.
that, check that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean with the earnings, like when they give the numbers, they're giving that for the previous quarter. The guidance is looking ahead, and the market's always gonna care more about what you're doing in the next quarter and the quarter after that than what you did the previous quarter. So, not surprised to see Broadcom trading up so much despite the miss there on sales, because you had that upbeat guidance there. If you're in the chip space or in the tech market overall, like this earnings report is really helping your portfolio this morning.
100%. Some noteworthy pops and drops. Riot is up 6%. I like that. I got a competition portfolio that I'm running with my buddies, and I do have some Riot, so I'm happy about that. Bitdeer Tech up 10%. Robinhood up 4%. The retail brokerage reported November 2024 total assets under custody over $195 billion, net deposits of $5.6 billion, and funded customer growth of 6% year over year. The crypto trading volumes are surging 780% year over year. Zunaid, I know you had some thoughts with Robinhood.
Yeah.
What's the take here?
I got a chance to go to their event in Miami where they released the Legacy platform of theirs, and it was incredible. What they did is, everyone knows that nobody really liked Robinhood because of the whole AMC debacle, but they really have found a way to win back the hearts of retail investors, in my opinion. They understand that. They invite analysts to come on and different things like that. I mean, and the majority of folks that were there at that event weren't like big shot traders. They were the average John, Jane Doe that might have $4,000 in the account, but they were using Robinhood. So it was exciting to kind of see them win that back. And they're also now, everything that they're doing is to get money. They had the matches that they've had. They now are doing something called like Robinhood Gold Week or something, where you get a chance to get a piece of that $1 million pie that they're giving out to everybody. Not $1 million each, but you get a piece of it. So they're doing everything correct in terms of new products that they're bringing out, new technology that they're introducing as well. So they're I like the company. Now, in terms of, is the stock overvalued? I don't know. I'm not your fundamentals guy whatsoever. I've liked Robinhood. On a different trading show, I've been trading it since the crack of about $20. Obviously, I no longer have it, but long term, I like Robinhood, especially if this theme of retail traders continues. People thought it would really die down after 2020. Sure, it slowed down, but we're still here to stay, if you will. So Robinhood, long term, I like it, especially if crypto continues to go and they create new things there. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, getting in the more in the crypto space is huge for sure. I think that's great for them. And then I know they're obviously dipping into like sports betting stuff and areas in
Yeah.
that, and that could be huge, right? That's just a whole nother angle of attack for Robinhood, right?
Yeah.
To a whole nother marketplace, which is huge. So yeah, love to see that. Keros Therapeutics down 73%. The company halted 2 high-dose arms in its phase 2 trial for pulmonary arterial hypertension. Nasty there.
Yeah.
Another therapeutic company announced promising leukemia trial results, but paired gains as investors' attention turned to other ongoing challenges. Down 38% there. Sienna plus 16%. The optical networking equipment maker missed earnings estimates. Makes sense. But its revenue was in line with estimates. Still an upbeat guidance. Helped push retail sentiment into bullish territory. So looking better there. We got Warner Bros. Up 13%. Liquidity Services up 30%. Bunch of names moving a ton. Are there any more that stand out to you guys that you guys are watching?
For me, you have a CEO that leaves and the stock celebrates sometimes in terms of Intel. I know they had the initial dip and then now it's up. It's like, man, what does that do to your self-esteem? What are you talking about with your therapist? But another stock that's not on this list, but I just want to
Well, the
quickly kind of
CEO
mention
didn't
it.
leave. He got. Oh
Well,
wait, that's a different company.
yeah. Well, I think he resigned. He got pushed out. Whatever fancy way you want to put it. But another stock that's not on this, real quick for me, is Reddit. I was looking at it the other day. Did not realize it was at $164.
Yeah,
Massive, huge. I mean, I'm late. Don't get me
ridiculous.
wrong. It had a nice gap up from like 82 to
What are your
104 back in
most
November.
visited subreddits, Zunaid?
What are my most visited subreddits?
Yeah, they can be NSFW, whatever.
Right now it's 75 hard because I'm trying to see if I want to get myself a little
Oh,
bit,
you didn't
little
have
bit
to go
slimmer.
that. You didn't have to go that NSFW. Come on, dude.
Disclaimer:
gosh.
it is a mental weight loss journey type thing, but that I can see why that comes off that way. And then of course day
Oh,
trading and
gosh.
Wall Street bets and all that fun stuff is good as well.
Oh, you got to keep an eye on Wall Street bets. It's too
Yeah.
much fun to watch that stuff go down. Yeah.
But just amazing how that stock's done. Just blew through the IPO price. That
It's
people thought
crazy.
would
I
never
don't
be
usually
touched.
touch IPOs like that quick, but I definitely wish I did on that one, right?
I got-
The growth there is ridiculous. Did you get any, Aaron?
Oh, I got banned from Wall Street
Oh.
bets, so it's like I thought we had like freedom of speech, and it's like communist, Russia over there, where they don't want me talking about my great trade ideas, and you get banned from there, and I'm like, man, well, I guess you guys don't like making money, so.
Didn't you know you can only talk about meme stocks there?
I
mean,
know. I put in like some well thought out due diligence, a good report, some good.
Nah, they don't like due diligence there.
They said, "Get out of here with this. This is not the place for that, Aaron." And so I have to post my stuff elsewhere. But yeah, well, I will not be sharing my Reddit name for anyone asking in the chat here.
That's too funny. Well, moving on and taking a look at CVS chart here. $50, obviously just a big psychological level for it.
Yeah.
Also a big level that we've just been holding over this time, trying to base above, but just not looking good. You see, we tried to make a move up towards the previous highs there, and then just couldn't get the momentum. Got that consolidation, ended up breaking down. In my opinion, when you're looking at that consolidation, it looks like it would like to consolidate and then go higher, right? But that's where like I'm not a big chart pattern guy, and it's like you gotta take everything with a grain of salt and really understand what you're looking at, right? And it's like a lot of the time, if I were to bump up time frame on that, I'm sure that what looked like consolidation for maybe a bullish move up was actually showing me clear lower high rejections in this channel, in this trend, right? So not looking good at $50. I'd expect more downside here until I really see a big buyer step in. Maybe they try and sweep these $50 lows and trying to stop a ton of people out below this area. I'm not too sure. You'd have to see some big buys come in under these levels and reclaim that $50 pretty quick. So could be looking for that, but just overall not looking great on this chart. Lower highs, lower lows until I see a market structure shift. Looks like it's going to continue that way for me. But any thoughts from you guys?
I wouldn't mind being short here. You can have a stop loss of 55 if you can get it under 50, and you're risking about $5-6. I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, you want to talk about psychological levels? I'll take a quick pivot for the folks at home. If you want to pull up the daily for CrowdStrike, ticker CRWD, $200 was support after they had their glitch issues, and then 400 was resistance before that. So those psychological levels, look, it's not always going to be 100%. If it was, I'd be richer than I was, and my subreddits would be a little bit different. But psychological numbers, self-fulfilling prophecy, call it what you want, they work. It's another one of those where you add it to your tool belt when it comes to day trading. It's not the end-all be-all, but in terms of this specific stock, cracked 50, wouldn't mind going short around 49.50. Stop loss would be before 55. First target would be 45, and then we'll see how much lower we can go.
Yeah, I like it there. Lockheed Martin also testing that 50-week moving average, which obviously, I mean, big buying opportunity for a lot of stocks when they're retesting that big moving average. But at the same time, Lockheed Martin has kind of been getting its market share eaten up, right? So something to watch out for here. I'd keep an eye off this level. It's also a big psychological level of $500, which we all know. Just those whole numbers are big for investors and traders. There's usually a lot of orders going off around those levels. So something to watch out for here. I'd expect a bit of a bounce from this area and maybe retrace back into the range we were in. And I don't know how bullish I'd be off of that alone. I would just think it's a short-term bounce, maybe actually to get back into some levels to short here. But also not a name I'm trading every day, right? So I'm not following this constantly, but looking decent here at the 500 level.
You're also testing the previous resistance area at that 485. So if you look left, you've got that at right, what is that? A little bit after March. So if that holds and you get, a bullish candle on the weekly, which is a chart that we're looking at now, I wouldn't mind getting in with the size I was comfortable with a stop loss below that if we do put in a bullish candle on the weekly. So something else to keep in mind there, as a lot of different stocks will benefit with this administration. Palantir being one of them. Does Lockheed Martin take a hit because of it? Something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. You got any thoughts, Aaron, on any of these tickers? Or
my only thought on this Friday morning, going back to the CVS chart, was I like when charts look, very symmetrical. On the CVS chart, it looked like if you, drew a line on this right-hand side and flipped it, it looks the same. I like that. It kind of makes sense to me. That's my only thought. I think my brain here has been spent here a little bit this week, but on a Friday morning, I like that. I think it looks nice when a chart looks very symmetrical. It reminds me of art class when I was a kid.
Aaron Bree likes his charts the way he likes his women.
Yeah.
Symmetrical.
Yes.
That's what I got out of that one.
I love it. I love it. Oh, the Russell 2000 looking interesting here, just in this descending channel. Obviously, we're coming into the end of the year and into January, so we've talked a little bit about the January effect and how that can affect small caps and everything. So something to watch out for there into the new year. And honestly, I've caught some decent trades on the Russell over the past few months, just with the setups there. But I'd love to see some real continuation. I know every time we try and get going, it just seems like it can't really get going. So I would love to see if it could maybe into January. We'll see what happens there. Any thoughts from you guys though?
I mean, I think like you said, Jordan, like trading IWM is great, and you definitely have weeks, sometimes even a month maybe where small caps are performing well and look good. But in general, like,
just never lasts.
At the end of the day, there's a reason that these companies are small cap companies. There's a reason they're not bigger. And then a lot of times, I want to say the majority, I don't have the exact data in front of me, so no one quote me on this, but I want to say the majority of companies in the Russell are not profitable. So it's like, why would you buy to own 2,000 small companies with the majority of them not being profitable? The flip side to that is sometimes the market environment is set up very positively for these names. And so if you go back to 2020, 2021, great time for small caps. Not so much right now. Fun to trade. I wouldn't go out and just buy the IWM again, because I'm like, well, I could invest my money in profitable companies or 2,000 small companies where the majority of them aren't profitable. So I don't know why I would do that when I could just go ahead and buy those companies that are already making money. So trade it, don't own it for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I've got nothing here based on this chart, but I am looking forward to January effect. We might need to put together 3 to 5 stocks collectively, with Shy being one of them as well, to kind of say, all right, cool, what are the stocks that we're picking out for January effect to kind of get us ready for 2025? But That's what I've got.
Good stuff. Yeah. Zunaid, I know you have some stuff you want to share.
Yes, you sure
Yeah, go
do.
ahead and throw that up.
So I talked about how, went ahead and drove all the way to Tennessee last week to go ahead and gamble, right? And if you guys want
I
to put
love
the
this.
link in the chart.
This
Dude.
is just die hard. I love it. I love this. This is
Let me
awesome.
tell you how much of a degenerate I am. I got the email address I was staying at the Hilton. I got the salesperson's email address, and I was like, hey, I won't be coming here often. What kind of deal can I get? So I expect me to go back and forth a little bit more. But yeah, this is just where I kind of track my bets. And I talked about how the way that I go ahead and place my bets is based on where is the price of a bet compared to where the market is. Where are the outliers that I can get? Because unlike stocks, where it doesn't matter if you trade at trade zero, Robinhood, a price of Apple share is the price of Apple share, and that's it. So this is kind of where I track everything. We've had good success. We'll go over a trade here. But this is where, I track everything in terms of my daily stuff. As you can see, we broke resistance. That's the way I like to call it here. We had resistance at this 1594. Once you see us break it here, once we got to 1670, we went ahead and broke through yesterday and had a little bit of fun. But that's what I've got in terms of that. Now, let's go and actually look for some bets. If anybody is in a state where you can legally place a bet, this one's kind of for you, and I'll give you an example of what I was talking about. So this is Jameis Winston, pass completions over 21.5. Now you can see at Pinnacle, which is known as a sharp book, they're giving it to you at minus 138. However, if you go to Hard Knocks, they're giving it to you at break even. So pretty much I can pay $38 less at Hard Rock to get the same amount in profit. So if it does lose, yeah, I lost money, but I'll lose $38 less for every $138 that I'll put in. So I think for me, let's go ahead and talk about, different prices and things like that. And let's see if there are any games that are happening tonight. Here's another example. So this is happening tonight. It's NBA. You've got the Hornets taking on the Bulls. Some of the prices may have changed, but this is a good example where, again, at Pinnacle, if you wanted the under, you have to lay $111 to win 100. However, if you go to DraftKings, you only have to risk 100 and you get 115 back. So you're risking less if you lose, and you're making more if you win. So if you're looking to go ahead and play some bets tonight, I would say if you can get Brandon Miller under 5.5 rebounds at plus 115, I would go ahead and do that. And if you're looking for some NFL Sunday action, go to Hard Knocks. You can get Jameis Winston over 21.5, lay 100 to win 100. It's much better lines than what everybody else is offering. But that's what I do, man. I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I try to find where the price is off, and I try to go ahead and pick them off that way.
Oh, there's a bell.
I thought the bell was ringing for Bree to come back. That was quite clutch in the way that you did that, pal.
That was pretty clutch.
It's like WWE. That was like your intro to the show.
Oh, I love it. Well, market's open. Things getting a little pop right here off of yesterday's high on QQQ so far. But we'll see what the day holds.
On how the market typically does on a Friday the 13th?
Ooh, good question. My buddy probably has the data on that from one of the companies he works with. I don't, though, specifically.
That was very vague.
Emp's in the chat. Emp.
That works at a company. I've got a
No, like he works with them. He works with them. Edgeful. Emp, do you have any Edgeful data on that? With the Friday the 13th, if you're in the chat? I'd love to see that. Feel free.
So Zunaid, how's the betting been going so far?
It's going well. I was just sharing my chart here. We started with $10,000, and we are up 24.34. So we're up 24% on the portfolio, if you will. That's how I'm going to go ahead and sound like a douchebag on it. But yeah, we're doing good. I can't complain. We're expecting a little bit of volatility, a little bit of coming back to the mean. But as long as we keep placing those plus EV bets, which by the way, folks, Google it. Also, I dropped my Twitter handle for the new account in the chat. You're welcome to DM me, and I'll answer all your questions there. And maybe we can talk some trading and stocks and bets and all that. But so far, so good. Can't complain.
Dude, yesterday sorry, this is a little tangent, but we're talking about sports betting real quick. I had a parlay in some soccer games for 3 different games to finish a draw, and all of them were going on at the same time. They were all tied going into the 90th minute. one team in one of the games scored a goal in the 93rd minute, like in extra time as the game was ending. At the buzzer, scored a goal. Would have won $5,000 on this parlay if that team didn't score a goal.
Damn. Well, if you got anything for today or this weekend, let us know. But I'm taking a look at the ES to see if it's going to hold this 60-53 level in terms of support.
Jordan Poole over 4 threes tonight is like plus 115.
Jordan Poole over. Okay.
Just take that, Zunaid.
Just take it. I might have to drive up to Tennessee to do that.
Gosh.
Which I do plan on doing on Saturday. So tomorrow I'll do that after the
Back
show.
on the road.
Oh, for sure.
On the road again.
I should have created an LLC and I'll just be able to expense or write off all these hotels and gas and everything. That's the move.
100%. Absolutely.
Here, I can share my charts if you guys wanted to talk about, or if you got it. Were you sharing something?
I was not.
Okay, cool.
All
I'll
good.
just go ahead and share. If you guys want me to
Yeah,
take a
you're
look at a
good.
couple of tickers, let me know. But here's what I'm kind of taking a peek at for the ES. You've got resistance that was happening at the 60-53. We've tested it a couple of times. It's held on as support. Obviously, we're about 20 points above on the ES of that, but that's a level. So if you want to go short, for me, you've got to break that 60-50. Again, goes back to the psychological aspect of that 50 as well. And we'll see if we get a little bit of a break. You do have lower highs happening in the market at the moment. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll see if we break that at 60.86. That's something to keep an eye on the ES.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye as well. We're just fighting these big NFP levels from the NFP data in December here. We're just right at that low on ES right now, so trying to hold that. But I'm with you as well. I'm leaning towards the short side until I see really momentum break these highs again. But something to notice is in after hour or in pre-market here, we broke over yesterday's highs on QQQ and NQ, and we're still holding that. So got to be careful there. Don't want to step in front of a freight train yet.
And
But
that's the level right there. It's about the 530.60. I think I just drew it for you there.
Very nice.
Let's see what else is happening here.
One stock, I don't know if you guys have talked about it yet this morning that I've been watching today, Upstart. Fun stock to trade, up $6.50, up $7 now. Got an upgrade from Needham, I believe, $100 price target, which Zunaid also, just going to throw it out there. It is a FAFO Friday. If we're really trying to, F around, we could F around.
I'll tell you what, Aaron Bree. Here's what we'll do. So Aaron Bree and I, obviously, we've been buddies for a while, and we used to do this thing where he would go ahead and pick a stock. He would pick an options play. And I would go ahead and thank you for breaking my heart this morning. I appreciate it. And I would go ahead and take the opposite side. So Aaron Bree, I'll tell you what. You go ahead and pick a trade, whatever trade you want, whatever ticker, whatever option, whatever strike, whatever you want. I'll take the opposite.
I love it.
My suggestion was going to be a little bit different.
What'd you want me to do?
I wanted you to log into Upstart. You don't have to put too much personal information, just like bank account info, social security number, all this stuff. Get a nice small, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 loan, and let's really start gambling. Let's really start doing this sports betting thing right.
Nice.
And that's what Upstart does. So I'll take the long side on the stock. We'll pull out a loan. We'll do some sports gambling. We'll throw that money back into Upstart stock. And it'll just be like an infinite money.
These guys are true degens here.
You just took insider trading to like a whole different level.
No, it's like okay. Jordan, you might be too young for this. Zunaid,
Maybe.
Zunaid, you might be too old for this. But in 2005, you were playing like the old Grand Theft Autos, like San Andreas, and you could do the cheat code to just have unlimited money.
Yes.
That's basically what this would be, Zunaid. We pull out a loan from Upstart, we gamble with it, we put the money back into Upstart stock. It's the GTA infinite money glitch.
I appreciate you wanting me to be like a mini Michael Saylor, where I'm just infinite money glitch.
Leverage.
I'm just utilizing leverage. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did that in 2020 when I had Disney at 147, then the pandemic happened, and I lost 6 figures. Let's just say, and it was not fun. But real quick on Upstart though, if it does break, obviously look, we're here's where we are in terms of the daily consolidation. If it breaks 87. I think you can go ahead and possibly have a chance to touch 100 with the psychological aspect of it. If somehow we do reject and we break $65, I think you can maybe have a chance to fill the gap at 57.43. So Aaron, that trade I might take. I'm going to go ahead and set my alerts here in case it does happen. But I think I'm going to pass on you trying to bankrupt me with UPST.
Well, if nothing else, I thought we would have a fun story to make out of it. So,
Tell you what, I know the bosses are listening. If they'd like to fund and sponsor this degenerate activity of ours, let me know.
That would be funny to watch.
But let's see what else. You've also got Apple, by the way, can't seem to get over the 250 level. We talked about psychological numbers. You'll hear us repeat it all the time. But that's another stock that's looking to break above that. If it can't, maybe you see a little bit of downside. But, it's December. Everybody wants to buy just to make their portfolios look nice and pretty.
You know,
what else does it need to do, Zunaid? It's a $3.5 trillion company. That's not good enough for you. It has to break the 250.
The Vision Pro had so much promise and it sucked. Meta has like those. Is it Meta that now has like those Ray-Bans looking glasses?
Yeah.
None of that stuff matters. No one's actually gonna go buy any of those headsets. Apple's
yeah, I agree with I agree that no one's gonna buy the Vision Pro, but I think those Meta Ray-Bans looking things are gonna be key, especially in this world of content creation that we're in. It's a little awkward to go around like this. It's just so much easier if you just have glasses and you're able to get a nice POV. Don't get any ideas, Barry, that people are able to go ahead and enjoy content creation.
I agree. The glasses are they're a little more like just nonchalant. You know what I mean? You walk up with an Apple Vision Pro, you look like a robot, you know?
Yeah. You just look like a dweeb. But with Ray-Bans, you look normal and no one really knows what's happening. But anyway, that's what I've got on Apple. Maybe we come back and test at 237. This is a weekly on it.
Again, to me, it just doesn't matter. Like, Apple Vision Pro flops. Okay. iPhone sales, not great. Okay. MacBook sales, not great. Okay. Like, it just doesn't matter with Apple. Like, every single dip has been a buying opportunity. Not just in the last year. Not just in the last 2 years. Not in the last 5 years. Over the past 20 years, every single time Apple has dipped, all it's been is a buying opportunity. And the next time it dips, guess what? I'll be buying it, and you'll see other people out there being like, oh, this is it. This is where Apple is dead money, and it's finally going to roll over. No, Apple, you just can't stop it. I don't care what's going on with it. I don't care what they do. The stock is just going to keep going up.
All right, let's identify what that dip is for you then. Is it a certain percentage that it has to go down? Is it like
it's just red. If it's
10?
Red, if it's red, I'm buying Apple. I don't care.
If it's red, he's in.
Red apples turn to green apples on this stuff.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a great way to think about it.
Nice.
And this is not financial advice. I'm being a little bit facetious. So there could come a time where Apple actually draws down, but historically over the past 20 years, this thing is just a monster, and I don't like to fight with monsters. I know.
I'm just imagining a lawsuit where the judge has to read out that the reason Aaron Bree is getting sued is because he said buy Apple on red days. Red apple will turn into green apples, and that's why you got hit with the lawsuit.
Yes. That is my core investment strategy. And if that has been your core investment strategy for the past 20 years, it's worked out pretty damn well.
Taking a look at Crouch. If anyone has any tickers in the chat that you guys want us to maybe cover from a technical standpoint, let us know. But I'm just taking a look and seeing if there's anything else. MSFT.
Apple breaking those highs. Tesla's down 415 here coming into yesterday's low, so some selling going on there.
Zunaid, have you checked out Build-A-Bear stock recently?
No, what is that? I mean, I know what it is, but what's the BLDR? No. What's the ticker?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, BBW.
Oh, what's the ticker on that one again?
You're so stupid. Is there actual stock here you want to talk about with this, or you just want me to say that?
What do you mean? It's up 74% over the last year. This is a St. Louis company, and I was back home in St. Louis for Thanksgiving. I was driving down the street, and I guess they bought an old factory in St. Louis to make their world headquarters. Do you know what it says on there?
What?
It says Build-A-Bear World Bear Quarters.
Build-A-Bear World Bear Quarters.
The World Bear Quarters.
What a name.
In St. Louis, and I like it. And so holiday season coming up, people with young kids, they might be going to take them to Build-A-Bear to get a little holiday themed stuffed animal. I think they're doing some really exciting things. You talk about, AI, the next iteration of these Build-A-Bears that have like the voice in there, they might just become real. Like you guys have seen the movie Ted. That
Yeah.
might be what Build-A-Bear does next, is like make AI versions of Ted, and everyone's buying them. So I think this thing becomes interesting.
If
You
Ted's
know,
coming alive, I'm gonna have a bunch of them lined up behind me during the stream. Like, and whenever we do some good trades, they're gonna clap, and we're gonna have a whole audience.
People are always curious. Hey, we've missed the NVIDIA trade. We've missed the AI trade with Palantir, NVIDIA, AI. How else can we get in the AI trade? I did not think Build-A-Bear was an angle to play AI.
Yeah, and sorry, Zunaid, what's the ticker on here again?
You're so dumb. But I will say, the stock does a great job of filling the gaps. You had a gap up here in August, and you had it come down and fill the gap. And then, of course, you had a nice little breakout above 40, and then now you're just holding that as support as well.
All right, we do have a stock from the chat here, DXCM, which is
Dexcom.
A company that develops, manufactures, produces, and distributes continuous glucose monitoring systems for diabetes management. Oh yeah, Dexcom. So this is like, you see people that have diabetes wearing the little devices on their hip or something to monitor their, blood sugar. I don't know. I remember when this thing dropped so much, but I kind of forget why. It dropped 37% in July. And I remember when it happened. I'm sorry, this is really not helpful, but I remember when it happened, but I don't remember why. So
I would assume it's earnings. So if you take a look at the chart, you were trading at about, maybe call it $107. Then I believe you reported earnings, and it fell all the way through. For me, from a technical standpoint, Jordan, Aaron, I'd love to get your insights on it as well. You dropped all the way, you gapped down. Now you had resistance at approximately 77.30. You go ahead and pop up on the daily. Now you're holding on to it as support. As you can see, that 77.30 was resistance. Now it's support. If you were to go ahead and try to get into this trade, for me, the risk off would be about $5. So if it breaks 73, I'd be out. And then if it does want to, if you do get a chance to go ahead and break above 82, that'd be my first profit targets, and then make our way stair stepping to try to fill the gap if it does. But I would also look to sell majority of it at 90 and 100. But what are your thoughts, gentlemen?
Just looking at that chart, I just ran just a weekly fib on that week where we did drop on earnings, and the 50% retracement of that week down is 87.81. So if you are feeling long, I would like longs into that area. And then, of course, if you can rocket over that, like you say, get the full gap fill. But in my opinion, I would look for shorts to step in off that 87.81 and continue this down after this. We have this like consolidation and this move up. I think this move up would be back into that big weekly. We have a bunch of like dead space sitting there. I would anticipate that's where short sellers try and step in. Or if not, obviously, if we can get over that 87.81 and we're strong with that, that's telling me that we have potential to fill this gap and don't want to be short in that gap. So there's opportunity for both sides, I think, here. And yeah, with that big earnings down day, that brought a lot.
You know, you guys covered the trading side of it well there. What I would say fundamentally, just like long term here for a company like Dexcom, I have a few concerns. One would be obviously with Ozempic and these weight loss drugs, a lot of them to manage diabetes. Maybe over time, diabetes, rates go down because people have access to these drugs. Another thing to think about with Dexcom, which again is in this medical device space, is you have companies like Apple who over time are implementing more and more different features in their Apple Watches and things like that. That I believe Apple did have a patent or something for doing glucose monitoring, blood sugar monitoring without even extracting blood through any like prick or anything, which I saw some experts basically say like that's impossible. You can't do that accurately without the actual blood. But it's Apple again, so I wouldn't bet against Apple. So like, would I be shocked if in 5-10 years Apple Watches are able to do that, and then so people don't have to go out and buy these Dexcom devices? I do think that's a possibility. So again, long term, just some things to think about. Short term trading, that stuff doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this is a good thought. I never thought about it that way with Apple and them getting into there, and it's kind of like what was it, Google or Amazon and HIMS? Whereas if Amazon is stepping into kind of that space, right, it kind of puts a headway onto HIMS, where it's like, okay, HIMS has been great, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with the big leader, and if Google or if Amazon's gonna step into that space, I'm gonna choose Amazon over Hims, right? So,
Yeah, it's
kind
like
of a similar thing
Yeah,
going
and
on
you
there.
see that happen a lot where like a company has a great idea and then one of the big companies out there is like, oh yeah, that is a great idea. Let's
Yeah,
do that. And it effectively just like kills the small innovative company. I mean, think about like you're like the leader of MapQuest back in like the early 2000s. And next thing you know, Google is like, oh yeah, we're going to put Google Maps out there. And it's like, all right, well, how do we compete with this? Like, we had this great idea, and then they just come in with more money, bigger systems, and are able to kind of take it over. So, you know, definitely something that Apple is looking to do is to implement more and more health monitoring services into their devices. So, again, just something to watch long term.
yeah, definitely. This market's moving. We are just ripping to the upside here, taking out all these upside targets. NQ is just
How far away are we
chilling at
from
these new
all-time highs
highs.
on S&P or Nasdaq? I mean, I know we
Well,
record
NQ's trading at it right now.
Okay.
S&P is close. We're still kind of under the highs. December NFP 609.07 will be all-time highs again.
You're looking at about less than 0.5%
Yep.
at the moment.
Still just in between these levels I've been talking about on the show pretty much this whole week. Those December NFP levels, man, on SPY, Qs. It's just been a fight around those levels all week. Q's definitely a lot stronger. I mean, we're over those levels now, whereas SPY is kind of caught in between them all. So if you're trying to trade strength, right, NASDAQ, QQQ is the place to be until that ends up rolling over, which I wouldn't just expect that to roll over seeing the momentum we have this morning until you actually have some sort of an indication of that.
Yeah, you got the Qs that broke all-time highs, I believe.
Yep, they're just ripping. Beautiful. And then gold is quiet to the downside, actually. Just that whole move up above the highs from November 25th there. It's just all fake there. They took it right to the highs, and now they're bringing it right back into the range where we were consolidating. So kind of gross on gold. I was trading it a lot for a little bit, and now I'm not really trading it at all because I just don't see too much opportunity to make money. So,
Bree, who's making you smile that much?
well, you texting your sneaky link over there?
Got him. Go ahead, make up some bullshit story. Go ahead. I'll wait. I'll wait for you, pal. Go ahead. Your brain's frozen at the moment.
I got nothing. I got nothing for y'all.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That's too funny, bro. That's too funny. Oh my gosh.
Acquaintances. Fuck out of here.
I was kidding, Zunaid. You're my buddy. You're my friend. You said you were
I'm about to
funny.
block your ass.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
What's funny? I
Hold
know.
on, hold on.
So
True
Aaron,
true story or not? I called Zunaid the other day, and Zunaid picks up, and he's all professional. Hello, this is Zunaid. I'm like, yo, dude, it's Aaron. He's like, Aaron who? I'm like, bro, you don't have my number right now?
What?
Like,
No.
I thought we were buddies for like 3 years. Like you said, he doesn't have my
Acquaintances.
number.
No, it's because his phone number, I guess, was attached to my Benzinga email. So
No,
when
don't-
that
don't
went
say that.
away, so when that went away, his phone number went away. Sorry,
He's
you
like,
get the
bro,
point.
it's me. And you're like, hello, Zunaid, at your service. Like,
Yeah. How can I help you?
I didn't
bro,
know. I didn't
shut
know
up.
what
It's
happened.
Aaron. Like,
Fun times. Yeah, I felt
Oh,
bad. I
that's
was like,
funny.
oh man, no, I genuinely don't know why I don't have your number.
You
Then I was
knew-
like,
you
oh
knew that's
yeah.
what I was gonna bring up right now.
Yeah,
too.
I did. I did.
that is funny.
Because
I
we've
did.
been friends for so long.
Acquaintances. That's what I'm gonna do. If we ever email, I'm gonna be like, dear acquaintance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
please give me a
to
play.
address him now.
But
I'll be
that's
like,
kind of
"Wait,
pretty
who
much.
is this?"
That's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah.
In terms of charts and stuff on my end.
Me as well. I think we're going to wrap it up and get on into the rest of the trading day. But it's been a great morning. I hope everybody's ready for the FAFO Friday, ready to get moving. Obviously, markets are already moving pretty spicy this morning. So be careful. Make sure you guys are following your rules and playing your plan. But yeah, boys, appreciate you hopping in, as always. It's always a great show with you guys on the Fridays.
You got it.
Everybody trade safe, and we'll see everybody bright and early next week, Monday morning. So enjoy the day, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
See ya.